Hello everyone, today we have the massive economy update in Marvel Snap. So Snap Packs are here, we have a brand new way of acquiring cards, and with Snap Packs, released 3 brand new Series 4 cards. In Batroc, the Leaper, a 1-cost 2 power that every time a card moves, he follows it and gains +2 power once per turn. We have Topaz, a 3/4. After you play a card here, move it to the middle location. So an interesting concept. And then Fan Fei, I believe, a 4-cost 7 power, activate, move your other cards here to the right. And so I think that one will be interesting in like big move with a Heimdall or potential Heimdall, or just the threat of a Heimdall, having Fan Fei down, shifting your cards right and then back left. Would be so much power on those movement-oriented cards. And so with the Snap Packs today, I've pulled my first few. The very first seasonal Series 5 that I pulled so that I could unlock the Hydra Stomper. I got very lucky and very fortunate, and I pulled an S4 card. I pulled Fan Fei along with it. So a pretty good pack, and then I used some tokens on getting the other S4 cards. And so far, I'm enjoying it. I didn't get to interact with it a whole lot. I will on a brand new account soon. But as for today's deck, we have a Scream, Batroc, Hydra Stomper hybrid. Now, this is very, very similar in vein to just any ordinary Scream deck. However, I think Batroc and Hydra Stomper help take it to a whole new level because it has more versatility. If the opponent has a Luke Cage, for instance, you don't have to just rely on the negative affliction of what you're doing to the opponent. Sometimes you're going to be able to scale enough between your Batroc, your Kraven, and then getting your other pieces down that sometimes you can outpower even when a Luke Cage is down. Not ideal, but it's not a dead loss anymore. It's kind of like the reason we run Strange Supreme in the Thanos ongoing deck, so that it has the kind of either or. And so we have Sam Wilson to be able to have that movement, just that extra scaling, can buff up a Kraven. If you get Batroc on your own, then you're scaling and guiding your Batroc around the board so that he can be buffed up, and you're helping your Hydra Stomper. If not, and on 2 you have Scream instead, beautiful. You're going to be able to negatively afflict all their cards, and right now we had 4 movement cards surge into the game at the same time, so there is a lot of movement right now, and so Scream decks in general I think are poised to do well. Now I am still looking for some fun ways to use Topaz, Fan Fei, and then more so lean into the actual Hydra Stomper line. This one, sometimes you're not going to want to drop your Hydra Stomper because you're only going to move like maybe 3 cards throughout the game. Other times you're going to move about 8 or so, and you're going to have a 310, 311, which is amazing value whenever it comes down to it down the line. Overall, it runs very much like a Scream deck, but it is so very strong right now. I'm so excited for the new updates, for the new economy, or the new card releases that we can now have, that it looks like maybe sometimes we'll have surges of Series 4s, which hopefully they're not all in like the same archetype vein, because then I feel like that really pigeonholes the meta for at least a couple of days. But hopefully in the future, some of those Series 4s are good for different types of decks, so that you have kind of a flare of creativity versus when a card normally releases and all of a sudden you see just one particular deck over and over. But before I ramble any longer, we're going to go ahead and jump over into a couple games. The deck itself, phenomenal, especially right now with all of the movement that we have. Batroc, crazy strong, whether it be because of your own movement or your opponent's. Super, super strong card. And then we have the Hydra Stomper, which can be that added flair and flexibility. And then the rest is just your ordinary Scream deck. Let's go ahead and jump over into a couple games. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. Hope you guys enjoy. Have our own Miles sticking around in the right lane. We are able to grab the 8 cubes. The ugly 8 against the Luke Cage, but we will take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Clad Boy. The first location is the Sakar Grand Prix. We go ahead and we have our Batroc. Ideally, we find Sam, Kraven, or Scream for 2. We have Spider-Man. I don't know that I want to waste Spider-Man without having anything to rip away from the Grand Prix or to move around. So we're just gonna skip here. They have the Orania, so a movement deck. If we can find Scream, that would be beautiful. We cannot. I'm just gonna Polaris into mid. That'll move the Batroc with us. We keep the Spider-Man. All as well. Big Hercules. Now, what if we Stegron the Hercules away? We could also do just like a Miles and a Spider-Man and see if we can. We'll take a shot at the Sakar Grand Prix. If Spider-Man goes left, then we have a good shot to win it. We move Hercules to the right. It's fine. Not the worst, but definitely could be better. Batroc leaps over there, and then actually Hercules pushes us away, which we love to see. And so Human Torch with the Aranya moving mid, but Hercules is now gone, so it doesn't jump anywhere. Their Batroc will jump into mid, and so then they have the Miles as well. And so we tie left, tie mid, and they win right by 1 currently. Their last play was Arrow. Or their last play was Miles. And so we could Arrow here. We could also do like a Cannonball here. That would guarantee hit the Human Torch though, which is probably not what we're looking to do. The only problem is if Cannonball here, there's a chance that it goes in mid and then Batroc doesn't move alongside it. I'm going to go Cannonball anyways. They go Silk plus Topaz, and so whatever they play in the right slides mid. Cannonball does, or the Miles does go into nowhere. Our Batroc jumps straight back over there, and then Hercules says, no thanks, get out of here, over to the left with you, my good friend. And then their Batroc goes to the left as well. So with their Topaz, they have priority now. I'm gonna. They could go. Could they go? Do they have a? Could they potentially go Heimdall? I hope not. I'm gonna go Scream and then Stegron, both into mid, and see if maybe we can get lucky. We'll push the Silk out. We'll move their Batroc somewhere. I don't know. It's what we're gonna try. They go Hydra Stomper mid, which is big, especially with us helping them in that regard. So Hydra Stomper being 10. Stegron slaps the Human Torch over to the right. Our Batroc follows, but theirs cannot. Wait, our Batroc does not follow because it followed the Silk? Okay. Even if not, we won the left lane, but maybe Hercules bumped us somewhere? Maybe Hercules bumped the Batroc around? I don't know. We will take the 2 cubes. Let's jump into the next one. Next up, we have the Fooge. Whatever that means. First location is Death's Domain. A bit scary. We do have a Spider-Man that could potentially swing us over there. And then potentially Sam that could get us the shield over there. But we do have Sam Wilson. We have Hydra Stomper in hand, so I am going to focus on our own movement pieces, at least for now. And so with Sam Wilson, unless they have Scream, which is super, super common right now, Old Lady Madam Web. And then we do have our Scream now, which is beautiful to see. I'm going to snap it. With the Sam Wilson, we'll move it into mid, go ahead and buff that up, and then Scream is going to be just a beautiful additional piece of power for us. So shield left, that's fine. I'm assuming we see maybe an Iron Fist Human Torch. No, it's Silk Aranya, which great looking Aranya as well. They have a lot of these spider web borders and pretty good use for them. And so we can always make their Silk. We can make their Silk dance. We go first, so let's go ahead and Stegron slap it. It's going to move somewhere else anyways, but at least Scream scales. And then with the shield, our Hydra Stomper is able to scale here as well. So Silk to the right, and then it should proc, I believe. No, okay, it doesn't. So then the dagger with the Aranya. Pretty big, but we only have one card, thankfully, for it to scale off of here. Ooh, and then Kraven is nice. I was thinking Spider-Man here, but instead I think we go... Oh, we have to play in the right lane. Okay. So in that case, maybe it's not the Kraven. Maybe it's the Rocket into Spider-Man. Maybe Spider-Man grabs the Madam Web for us and yanks it away from that left lane. That's what I want. That's what I need. Otherwise, Death's Domain is very, very winnable for them. And so we can hope. With the dagger move, we are going to push the Silk out with the Rocket. And so then it's only going to be a potential of 2 cards that we're pulling against here. So it's a 50-50 of ripping away Madam Web into that far left lane. No! Oh, we rip it into mid, which is probably worse than it being right, honestly. And then a randomly generated Sandman actually hurts us a very fair amount. So dagger to the right lane. Could it win for him? I don't... If we arrow left, that pulls the Sandman over and then arrow dies. And we can only do 1 card regardless, which is a pity. Such a pity. This is only 2 power in the left lane, though, so Rocket Raccoon beats it as is right now. Maybe that's just what we go with. We go with the comfort knowing that that beats it. We could go ahead and push left if we thought we may need 1 more. Hydra Stomper would be decent. Their dagger is what scares me, though. They move the dagger over, and then maybe they're just competing for this lane. A weird call, but somebody's got to do it. I think they push their dagger left. They did not push their dagger left. Wait. It could be huge. Wait, does that push the Silk out? It does. Still fine. Thank gosh. Oh my goodness. The Ghost Spider pulling the Sandman, they had the mind games that they were playing, which thankfully did not work against my mind games that I was playing. We'll take the 4. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Coffee. We start off with Batroc in our hand. We're going against Arisham, so anything is within the realm of possibility here. Quinjet is beautiful. That was something that they stacked in their 12. They were able to pull. And so Taco Truck gives us the Chimichanga. And we don't have anything to play this turn, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and skip. They snapped. I'm afraid of a Killmonger. I'm afraid of Shang-Chi. I'm afraid of them just having like super stacked cards. But I'll stick it out for now. So Howard did not last very long. He is eaten. The White Palace will give them our arrow. It gives us their Beta Ray. Interesting. Okay. So we don't have priority, but that's fine. That's Rocket in the right. Degron is looking decent in the left lane. Then Batroc would follow. And it gets them pretty close to being capped out in mid. Not that we're going to be able to compete there, but The less power they have elsewhere, the better, honestly. So Stegron, and then we'll see. We always have the Polaris, so depending on if they drop something big or not. We also know that they do have the Beta Ray. I doubt that they play it just because shuffling... Oh, they do. Shuffling in a hammer, it's going to be tough to draw. They go Valentina as well, and so they get a generated card. We slap the Beta Ray instead of the Quinjet over. I'm absolutely fine with that. And then Beta Ray gets absorbed right away. Oh, it is what it is. Let's go Scream left, Polaris right. That's going to pull either Valentina or Quinjet or Iron Patriot. Any of them is okay. And then I do think we're going to need a little bit more oomph in these lanes. I just don't know which one we're going to need it in. So I'm going to go left. I think that's the safe play. So big Essen over here. Oh my goodness. Now the good thing is Strange Supreme will eat those created cards. And so it won't be able to like fully take benefit of the stuff that ends up getting pulled there all the time anyways. Sometimes maybe. And so our arrow, oh lord. Our arrow from White Palace gets pulled by Essen, and so then we're in some pretty hot water. What if we did Cannonball Miles? We move the rocket, we go Miles left. And then we're just hoping that the Cannonball pushes it mid. That feels like bad hope. I mean, it's either the arrow that pushes or Essen. Essen is more ideal. I don't know. I don't think we have a great shot here, but I am going to stick it out because we have, you know, some decent power. The Mockingbird goes from 7 to 6. Wait, did they draw the hammer and get a second Beta Ray? No, Mobius. Okay, so we're fine. So the Cannonball can't push left anymore. The Scream scales with the Cannonball play. Now, I guess it all depends on what created cards they have in hand. Because that could get pretty devastating pretty quick with the Cerebro. Thank goodness it wasn't something better. 4 or more power and they had us. We'll gladly take it. Batroc almost stabbed us in the back there with that move into mid. I forgot about it with the Cannonball. We should have been able to anticipate it, but we got lucky. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have rank 45 MSC 123 123. First location, Triskelion, hurts us a little bit by filling up our hand. We do have Agony, so we'll be able to merge with whatever we throw there. The Human Torch is a bit interesting. If we find Scream, then we're going to Scream, Shout, and Snap it out. Go ahead and Snap. We can win Sanctum with Rocket, unless they push some big cards or hit like a big Heimdall. If so, then we just know we need to stack left and right, and just have that small amount of power mid, which I think is what we're going to have that's going to be beneficial. Now, they do have the Madam Web coming in. And we have Scream, but I like the idea of the Rocket here. It's going to merge with the Agony. We can shift it over into mid as needed. And then as they move their Human Torch around, it's going to try to double up, but every time it does, we're going to yank it down a notch. Unless they have a Luke Cage, it's going to be eternally capped at 2. So a very sad day for the Human Torch. Rocket is going to be here. Let's see what we negatively afflict. The Triskelion Bishop is fine. We're fine with that. Then we have a Heimdall if we ever wanted to do some like crazy stuff. Either speed. Let's go Sam Wilson and Dazzler. I'll be able to move the shield around, which is nice. They still have a hard time moving anything. They can move the Bishop, and then it continues to scale, but they're going to have to play quite a few cards to be able to overcome the shield that's already there. Plus, our Rocket is going to be able to bounce that way whenever we want him to. So Copycat ended up hitting... oh no, it was created from the Triskelion, so it didn't hit anything. They do have an Iron Fist. Move the shield to keep it where I can do like these two. And then I think it's going to be an arrow play. Arrow's going to yank over to the right. Helps our Scream. Wait, the last card they played was Iron Fist. So arrow may not yank. If not, it's fine. We didn't get our own Sam Wilson down early enough in the Batroc. That's usually where the Hydra Stomper ends up really shining. They went ahead and moved Copycat into mid too, and then pushed Mockingbird there as well. Crazy. So, wow. Okay. We have priority. So do we ever do something? It's going to be off the wall, kind of crazy. How much do we need in mid? Because this is 19, 18 right now. 18, 19, 20. Once it shifts over into mid, or no, 19, 20, 21. So can they do more than... No, they can't. There's no way. We're just going to do Heimdall left. We're going to leave the rocket left. We're going to leave everything right. Once this shifts over into mid, we should be able to have that surprise element. And then we don't even need to do the cannonball. We don't need to do the miles. I don't think they're going to have enough oomph to get us the rest of the way. We do end up grabbing the 2-cube retreat. Just having the Scream early against the pure movement helps so much. Let's go ahead and take it. We'll jump into the next one. All right, next up we have Husky Puppies OG, and I think this is the real one because he was ranked 35 yesterday, I believe, and so maybe he climbed just a touch. Let's go with our Craven. We have to play it into mid this turn, unfortunately. But we do have priority. They haven't played anything. He could be running Clutter. Husky is a lot like me in that regard, in that he really enjoys a good Clutter deck. I'm going to go Rocket into the Destroyed Mansion, just because every turn, Yggdrasil is going to let that continue scaling. It's a Werewolf. Interesting. Okay. So... I'm going to go Scream left, or Scream mid. I'm going to go Rocket right. I'm going to go Scream mid, Vibranium right. Just so that we can continue whenever Yggdrasil hits, it'll continue scaling that one. And so Nico plus the Destroy spell, and so Craven scales, Scream scales, and the Negative Affliction onto the Werewolf completely offsets the amount of scaling that he gets, and so it's a really, really rough jump for him. Now, it's interesting that the Destroy spell still works when the Transform into like a demon doesn't. I guess because Destroy, it still effectively at the very end of its life cycle was an Honorville. We have a lot of extra turns here. I think I'm just going to go something like Stegron, slap the Nico to the right, and call it good for now. We have a lot of flexibility in the cards we can play, but I kind of want to do it slowly. So Anti-Venom with a beautiful orange border. Really matches the background of the variant. I like it. Nice flare. Okay, and they're capped out here right now. Of course, Werewolf does move, and so there's that, but Spider-Man guarantees that it rips from here over. You can go Sam Shield, Spider-Man. That allows us a cannonball. Either that, or we just go like Arrow. Arrow Miles. Last turn would be Cannonball Spider-Man. With Arrow, we can yank the anti-venom, which I think is going to be good for us. I don't want to yank it into mid because I don't want to fill that lane. Yet, anyways. So double drop left. I'm curious. They're not going to rip away the... Oh, wait. The last card they played was the Vibranium, not the Anti-Venom. Okay. Whoa, so no on reveals. Interesting, Husky. Super interesting. I think we go Cannonball to get rid of the Moonstone, move it over into mid. And then Spider-Man to move the Ravona or Vibranium over into mid. And we leave Rocket and Groot as he is in the right lane. So Kraven's going to scale twice here. We get rid of a decent amount of, a good chunk of their power in the left. It'll just come down to where their werewolf bounces to, I suppose. And so with the Moonstone, if he anticipated my Cannonball of the Moonstone, I'm going to be a little bit sad. All right, let's see. Let's see how perceptive Husky was here. Big Shadow King. Jesus. Okay. Big Iron Man. Big Mystique, which Werewolf shouldn't bounce for, right? Because it ultimately at the end is not one. Okay, thank goodness. Whew. So it does turn out that the Cannonball, he didn't anticipate the Cannonball. We had just enough space to make this possible, but whew, had Moonstone been here, this Mystique would have been massive. We had no chance. I will gladly take what we got. Let's jump over into one more. All right, next up we have Will's Pixie, which I played them earlier. I snapped, I think it was on turn 1 because I had a really good setup and they retreated. And so then they instantly snapped me on turn 1. I'm curious if they're just maybe tilted or if they're actually, they have a good starting lineup. Now we have Batroc plus Scream, beautiful start. So I'm glad we stayed. Let's go Scream into mid. And then depending if we have priority or not, we'll determine from there. So Kate Bishop, he could be running a clutter deck, I guess. If so, it's a bit scary. All right, I'm going to go Rocket left. Although something tells me Rocket mid might be our play. But I'm going to go Rocket left. And then next turn, we could always go Batroc Polaris. So it is a clutter deck. But, man, ideally we get Sam Wilson. Otherwise, we're in a lot of trouble. Okay. All right, I'm gonna Batroc Polaris, and we'll I'll give them the Polaris. That's fine. We have enough mobile cards that if they use it, it is what it is. So we'll pull either Basic Arrow or Kate Bishop. We hit the basic. So then Scream scales on us, Batroc scales, and the greenest of goblins over here. We do negatively afflict and hit. All right, we have Prio going into turn 5. So if they're wanting to hit us with like a Viper something, I guess they could still hit us with a Viper, right? I'm gonna Cannonball left, or Arrow left. Ideally, we make it where they can't, like they're gonna send us the Basic Arrow. Do they have another? I don't know if they have another clutter card. But I'm gonna pull the Hood over to the left lane. That's our big genius plan here to dodge a potential Viper. But Batroc follows alongside it. So if they're wanting to do Doc Ock left, it won't quite work how they want it to. Okay, Debris is fine. think we're... So Demon mid wins them the mid lane. Unless we hit the debris, it goes here. And this would scale, it would reset to 0, and then 6. And so it'd be 9, but we would go to 11. That's our only shot. It is a shot, nonetheless. 9 plus 2. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go Cannonball right, Rocket right. That way our Batroc doesn't leave the left lane. We hope for the best. They can't retreat. We could snap them back, but I'm not confident enough to snap back. It's I think at the end of the day, it's a 50-50. Because the only viable play I see from them is their Demon and then like a Cannonball. Wait, they didn't do anything? An unfortunate, okay, either an unfortunate tilt or an unfortunate time for the phone to die. Either way, we'll collect the 4 cubes. We didn't get to use Hydra Stomper, but Batroc helped us by being that mobile resource, bouncing left and right so that it's hard for them to fully cap out a lane. We'll take it. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.